Your girl's got a real job. Now, what you gotta say? Technically, she doesn't have a real job because she's not going to be working
Yeah, she's not
at that real job. She's not going to be working
Yeah.
at the ice cream shop. This is literally just a troll post, which I find so funny because this TikTok is a dig towards like the so-called trolls that tell her to go get a real job and
the one that
whatnot.
she says she's unbothered by.
Yeah, the very trolls that they claim they're numb to the hate to, they always got to respond either on an Instagram story or a comment or, a TikTok like this, which is actually kind of funny because this is to troll the trolls, right?
Yeah,
so
it
they're
is, yeah.
trolling, so they're being trolls. It's really ironic. Well, by quasi logic,
Yeah.
if you troll other people, you're unhappy
with your life.
with your life. That is the very thing that he has claimed, that both of them have claimed, that you're unhappy in your life if you mess with people and troll them. So, Karen, I think you're telling us something.
Yeah. I don't mind that she's trolling, obviously. Like, it's okay.
No, I don't really care.
But
It's just ironic
I
and
will
hypocritical.
say, get over people telling you that. When influencers get so bothered by people saying it's not a real job, you know for a fact it is a real job, so get over it. She does own it, so I also understand that is going to be income that they bring in. So that is their job. The whole point of this post, though, is her telling people that she's working there.
Yeah, I mean, she's putting on an apron
Yes.
and everything.
She owns it, yes. She's not working there.
It is a job, but it's a job for other people. I mean, what, Qua Sister's the one that's going to be managing it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
And-
Qua Sister has the job, and possibly some other people will be there serving
There
ice
are other
cream,
people.
but Karen will not be. The only time you'll see Karen serving ice cream is for TikTok videos to troll other people or to show off or whatever.
Yeah, it's not like she's actually working.
And she's pressed about the so-called haters or whoever saying things like that in a time where she's more than likely not really getting it that much because again, they're not nearly as relevant as they used to be. I mean, they get between 30 to 60k views with each video that they push out, which, hey, that's good, that can make money, but it's not nearly what they used to get, which was hundreds of thousands, if not a million or so.
And the only time she really gets those comments now is if she sees the Reddit or it's in the Reddit, and she's probably in there. But aside from that, she did used to get those comments when she, probably around the time that like Kick-Ass happened and maybe before that, in that time frame, just a little time frame in there.
It was probably between 2017 and 2020 where they had the most of it, because that's like the biggest hype was
all they
between that
did,
time.
was
They
vlogging.
really blew up in 2017. I mean, that's when they established KK and Baby J as an actual business, like an LLC. And then 2020 was when they started to like fall, in views and followers and stuff. They didn't grow their channel for like 3 years. It didn't move. But the last few years after 2020, all that's kind of faded. And it's not that it doesn't exist anymore. It's just that there's less engagement because they're not as relevant anymore. And so either people just ignore them and just have moved on to watching other people or, snarking at other people or whatever. But a lot of the like hate that KK and Baby J have gotten has slowed down. But Karen is somebody who would hold on to that. And I can even imagine the last time she got that was 3 years ago. And she held on to it, and she's still doing it to this day, like having to mention it. And the reason why is because she's pressed.
I know that people used to tell them that before, and there was a time where it was like a huge thing.
I probably said that in the sense that like,
different though.
I'm not saying that social media isn't a real job, because it is. Whatever you do making money, it's a job.
It was more so like get off the internet and get a real job and like learn what it's like to have a real job.
A real world job.
A real world job.
That's what it's about, is a real world job. They both never really experienced that hardcore, survival shit, the actual job, like in the real world. Then they both had people who licked their assholes their entire life. They claimed they were poor, came from nothing, rags to riches. No. While I was rich growing up, mommy and daddy got a divorce and they couldn't spoil him anymore. And that's it.
I am aware that, influencing and being on social media is a real job, but I get really irritated when people compare them to real jobs.
Not just compare them, but also claim or state that their job is a lot harder. It's like Nick A30, that Fortnite streamer. You know, he'll say that he works harder than anybody else. Oh, okay, so you work harder than our soldiers? You work harder than the kids that have to jump into a river in Africa to swim to school, like for a mile? That's a thing. They have to jump in a river and swim a mile down the river in a current to get to their school. But Nick A30, who sits home all day and streams Fortnite, a video game, works harder than them. Works harder than people in construction. Works harder than people who built this country.
Well, and like,
works harder than everybody else in the world because he sits down and plays a video game while his mommy and daddy also lick his ass too.
Karen and Kwa, well, they know it's not a normal job, but it was not now. They don't say it now. But years ago, they did say we would still vlog every day, even if we had a real job. Or a job outside of it, whatever. I mean, they've proven that they can't.
Since the restaurant, and even before, but since the restaurant, they have been the most inconsistent they've ever really been, especially like within the last few years. Even before the restaurant was an idea, but they also had plenty of other ideas like Kick Gas, Cape Towel, and a few other business ventures and real estate, flipping houses, a bunch of things. And look what they have now. They have nothing besides the restaurant, and the restaurant can be a good thing. You know, I'm not saying that it shouldn't be, but what I'm saying is everything that Karen and Kwa have done thus far, they've completely and utterly failed at because they actually don't have work ethic. I don't want to hear that Kwa has good work ethic when he was just editing videos every day. That's consistency. You can say, hey, he was consistent, but what? You're going to give a child exploiter credit for putting out vlogs of his children every day, their privacy against their consent? No, I'm not going to give him props for that.
Because they've been so inconsistent with their vlogs for the last several years or whatever, unless they were having a baby. It proves that not just that they were lying when they said that, but also that when they did vlog every day, they weren't doing anything outside of vlogging.
Right.
Because now that they are doing things outside of vlogging, they barely vlog. If you were doing stuff outside of vlogging before and you were able to do it, how come you can't do it now?
You would have seen it.
You're never going to convince me Karen's there working. She's not. She's there to get some attention. She's there to scoop some ice cream for a fucking fan. And Karen didn't care about the restaurant until she could get attention off of it. Before, when it was like an early thing, they both literally said that it was Kwa's thing. And she wasn't going to do anything with it because they can't work together. They've said that before. That's another reason why I know Karen's not actually working there. They can't work together. They've said it before. They can't work together. Karen might pick out colors here and there.
Yeah.
And she might use it for some attention, but that's all she's doing.
She might pick out a couple of flavors, but she's not actually going to be behind the counter 8 hours a day. No. Which, again, she has children. Okay, that's not what we're saying. But point being is that that's what she acts like. Karen acts like she works hard. But look what she did with her own business. She shut it down because apparently there was one toxic bad employee, which is complete BS, but we'll save that for another video. But the business went to shit because she dragged it through the dirt. When you start a business, the boss, the owner, needs to be there to see it through. Unless you got like a super fucking amazing employee.
So she needed to be there. She needed to be the actual face of the company and be there to do stuff, because otherwise that company wasn't going to go anywhere, because the company was based off of her. They needed her following, their following, to make it work. Because otherwise it wasn't going to work, because people only liked it because Karen was the face of it. Your girl's got a real job. As if Kick-Ass was never a thing.
Here's the thing. Kick-Ass was technically a real world job because it was a fitness based type of thing, and she actually had to work in order to see it through for it to actually be successful. But that's why Kick-Ass isn't successful. Again, she didn't shut down because of one bad toxic employee. That's just her excuse. Karen's the reason why Kick-Ass failed, because she couldn't run it properly. She didn't have the work ethic. She didn't know what she was doing, and everybody else ran for the hills because they knew that Kick-Ass was a sinking ship, and Karen was the captain, and she was going down and taking everybody with her.
That's why they were so grateful that it was gone. Kwa, Karen, everybody was grateful when it was done and over.
But Kick-Ass got Karen out of her dark place, her depression, and is her baby, and then look what happened. It's completely gone.
That's what I'm saying. They were doing stuff outside of vlogging, so what was she doing if this is her real job?
They think because they were successful in exploiting their children that they'll be successful in every other avenue, but everything around them has failed aside from child exploitation. But because child exploitation is now failing, but that's just due to the change of being anti-vlogger now, but Karen Nicole needed a way out, and that's the restaurant. And who knows if the restaurant's actually going to be successful or not. I'm not saying I wish for it. I'm not saying that, but what I will say is by their track record, I don't see it lasting.
We're fully aware that they put a lot of money into it, money that money that they got from exploiting their kids. Qua has put a lot of work into it. I'm not going to say Keren has because she hasn't. She picked out a dresser for the bathroom. That's it.
It's also being ran by somebody else.
Obviously, they have to put money into it. There's no way that those people haven't put money into it.
That's what investors do.
Keren and Qua put all the money into it. Most of the money into it, but the other people are putting their expertise and some money into it. We saw them begging for money to pay for the restaurant. Over the last couple years, she did it multiple times, begging for people to engage in their ads and sponsorships and stuff like that.
But they were probably actually had to pay professionals to come in and actually do like that construction stuff, because Qual didn't know any of that shit.
Oh no, they definitely did. You saw it. Like, you saw people coming in and doing that. I'm not saying they didn't do all that. I'm just saying they did put work and money into it, but that's why they were begging on their channel, on their Instagram, begging for people to engage and keep watching their videos. Literally, I have screenshots of Keren saying, please watch our videos. They were begging people to watch their ads because they needed more money for the restaurant. Their community did pay for the restaurant. They put a lot of money into it. They put a lot more than they wanted to into it. It was a lot more work than they expected. It was a lot more work. It was a lot more money than they expected.
Just wait till they have to actually start paying employees.
I'm just saying, I can't wait for Qua to be there all the time at the restaurant. To actually have to work a regular job.
And with food prices right now, too, it's going to be crazy.
It's a whatever post, but Keren, it's not a real job. It's not really Keren's job. It's her livelihood. She's just not working there. Like, working physically there. Obviously, I know that they're going to make money from it. So it is a job. It's their income, but she's not working there. She's not working 9 to 5.
Keren could never work a 9 to 5 ever. Keren does not have it in her to do so. Qual does, but also Qual hates it. To be honest, out of all the crap that they've done, all their lies, there's deceit, their gaslighting, their manipulation, them lying about miscarriage, infertility, everything, Qual having to go out and work is their karma.
Also, on top of that, hopefully it does get them off the internet. I don't think it'll fully get them off of the internet because I do think that they do still and will forever rely on those sponsorships and stuff like that and their children for content. I won't believe they don't want their family to be the product anymore until all of that channel is gone. I won't believe it until they take it all down. If they thought that, then why is all their content still up?
They will forever use their kids to make money because it's big money. Even if the vlog views are down, the sponsorships still pay a ton of money. So they will continue on to do that, and they will never stop, and they will always do that, especially if they're hurting for money. Which is why Keren made up a whole story about, miscarriage and fertility, because in that time they were still getting, decent amount of views. And so they were trying to dramatize it to get more money because at that time apparently they were poor or broke or whatever Qual said. I don't know. That they said they had financial struggles, but Qual also says he was poor when he was younger, and we, like I said, it's just baloney. It's not true. I think actual reality of living in poverty and being poor is different than what Qual believes and what Keren believes.
Well, being poor and living in poverty are two different things.
Yeah, Qual said he was broke in 2020 while buying a $120,000 party boat, and among everything else Keren bought, and then a $170,000 Porsche in the same year that they claimed that they were broke. So again, this was just Keren trolling, and I just find it really ironic because they say that if you troll, you hate your life. So I guess Keren hates hers.